G'day, Hayden Andrews. How are you today?
I'm supremely well.
Thank you so much for being here.
No worries.
You legend. So you're a dear friend of mine, someone I respect immensely. You're the lead singer of Cheap Fakes, and you have many talents actually. And we worked together in a management capacity for a while. So yeah, it's been a great journey. And I'm wondering if there's something else you could tell me about yourself that I don't know. Fun fact.
When I was an early teenager, I used to be a really good golfer, and I was sort of being groomed to be a professional golfer. And then I sort of got into more music and maybe girls and stuff like that. And so I left that behind, but I still love playing golf.
Wow, I did not know that.
I could have been rich, but then I took the music industry instead.
You're rich in other ways, yeah?
Yeah, I'm rich with experience.
Awesome. So, look, I must say that I am beyond excited, as evidenced by my extremely over-the-top posts on social media, about your new album, Deep Space. I think it's your best album by far. And I think, one thing that I was working with you when you were in the early stages of this project, and I know that it was really important to you to stay true to your creative self, you guys, in producing and creating this album. So what advice would you give to artists about staying true to their creative journey?
I think just sort of follow your heart and don't really listen to what everyone else is doing. Don't listen to what's happening on Triple J or anything like that. Just sort of, go with what you think and do what you want to do and make up your own genres and your own styles and see where you go from there.
In terms of actually creating the album in the studio, how important is it to have, the right producer or, I know you sort of produced within the band this time. What's your experience of that? Producers
are definitely important, but I think maybe just creating the right vibe and that sounds so hippie, but I mean, you've got to be comfortable in the studio and have a space that you can go into and feel comfortable and know that you can be creative in that space. And it really makes a difference because, you could have the crappiest sounding recording, but if it's got a really good vibe, it doesn't really matter the quality, especially these days. I mean, maybe back in the past, you need to have a pristine studio sound, but there is also bands, sort of like the White Stripes and stuff that would record with one mic or, sort of like the really old school kind of sounds. And so I think it's more about vibe. But having a great producer on board I think it's really important as well. But I don't think maybe 100% necessary.
Yeah, for sure. And I know there's been over the years, I've seen some really cool projects where artists have really gone back to the roots of music and used, purposefully used old gear to get that sort of lo-fi sound, just to create something special.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no rules in music, so you can use state-of-the-art $100,000 gear, or you could use $50 Tascam 4-track recorder that you got from an op shop, and there's no rules in music, which is great.
That's what makes it so fun, hey?
Yeah.
From a songwriting perspective, like actually creating the music itself, what advice would you give to other artists for producing their most authentic art?
I would say just get as much out as you can, just work hard, and sometimes when I dwell on a song, I just leave it half finished, whereas I sort of need to just get in and finish a song and then move on to the next one. But we've been pretty prolific in songwriting, and we sort of do that and just keep churning them out. And there's some really crappy songs, but there's also some really good ones in there. And you just keep the good ones and turf the bad ones.
What's the key point to give to our indie artists? What's the key piece of advice?
Don't try to recreate the magic in the studio, from something that you've done in the past. Just try to capture the magic when it happens, because it always feels more fresh and better.
Absolutely. And if your new album is definitely a very, very good example of capturing the magic, because it's amazing, just quietly.
Yeah.
Deep Space, get it, go and listen to it.
Yeah.
Buy the vinyl, it'll change your life.
It will.
So I'm going to ask you a fun question now, and I'm really curious about your answer to this, Hades.
Yeah.
So if you were stuck on a desert island for the rest of your life and you could only take one album with you, what would it be?
Jeepers. I reckon it would probably be Mr. Bungle, California.
Awesome. That'd certainly keep you entertained.
Yeah, because I mean there's just sort of so many styles and so many different moods for those long days on the deserted island.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for coming and talking to me today. I really appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks for having me.